Have you ever stood up at your desk at 5 and felt 40 years older than you actually are? Your back might be tight, your hips won't open, your knees crack. Maybe that's just me. Then you still have a kids game to get ready for, or maybe a board meeting that you need to prep for. Sometimes it feels like you're falling apart. You might be running a business in a body that has been sitting for 10 hours a day for the last whatever number of years. I know I feel that. And nobody told you what that does to you. So today on Dialed In Health, we're going to be talking about just that. So I'm sitting down with the owner of MB Wellness, Will Sturgeon, right here in Sioux Falls. He has built his entire practice around one persona, the business owner over 40. The professional who's not seen the inside of a gym maybe in a few years, and the high performer who's starting to feel it. So he combines functional fitness, which we're going to talk about that, massage and breathwork into one approach. So this is not a bro gym, it's not a yoga studio, it's a place built for the body of the working adult. So over the next 30 minutes, you're going to walk away knowing what functional fitness actually means, why most workouts you see online are wrong if you're over 40, the 3 things every busy professional should be doing this week, and the 1 thing that nobody over 50 should skip. So if you're tired of being tired, or if you're written off feeling good in your body as a young person's game, this episode is for you. So Will, health and wellness is confusing. There's a new trend every week. Everyone's got an opinion, and half the time you can't tell what's legit from what's just good marketing. And we get it. We're in it too. Welcome to Dialed In Health. I'm Melissa Goodwin. Every episode, we bring in the people who actually do this work. Providers, practitioners, the experts who see clients and patients every day. We ask the questions you'd ask if you were sitting across from them, so you can find the right people, make better decisions, and feel confident about what's out there. Whether it's peptides, gut health, water quality, ADHD, biohacking, or something you've never heard of, we're covering it. So let's get into it. Let's get dialed in. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for being on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, this feels a little bit like that, you know those game shows where like Password, where I'm like, I have to explain something to you. And I feel like I'm on Password right now with this setup, but I like it.
It's fun, man. I'm excited.
So Will, you started MB Wellness. Is it a studio? Is it a gym? Is it a functional fitness? I don't know. Matt, you tell us, what is MB Wellness and why did you build it for people over 40?
MB Wellness is an abbreviation for mind body. So when I started MB Wellness, we can call it a gym, we can call it a fitness studio. Honestly, it's a variety of different things, but at the end of the day, it's a place where people can go and get better. I think with why I started MB Wellness is because I've always had a passion for helping people. And I was never an athlete growing up. I dabbled in sports a little bit, but it wasn't my thing. But I knew fitness was important to me. And so when I was in school, what they were teaching us was fitness applied to athletes. I didn't relate with that. There was no resignation for me. So I had to really think about what I was learning and how I could apply it to regular people. And so the reason I started MB Wellness here was because I did not have an outlet to express my creativity, but also my care for people, and specifically those who are 40 and above.
So why are you, what is it about the population of 40 and above? I'm celebrating the 40 and above with my attire here today with our interview. What is it about the 40 and above adult that's tricky?
Well, what's tricky about it is that most professionals, quote unquote professionals, personal trainers, they're young. They come in usually early 20s, they may have some education, or they just really love fitness and they went and got their certification and now they're a personal trainer. For me, the adults over 40, they're underserved because they're misunderstood. Your body doesn't function the way it did when you were 20. And if you're working with somebody who's young, they're going to train you the way that they're training themselves, which often does not carry over into functionality, vitality, and longevity. And so for me, that's the difference, is we focus on the long-term game. We're playing chess, not checkers. And so I want people to age well, because there's a lot of things going on now with anti-aging. In my opinion, that's bullshit. There's no such thing as anti-aging. There's just aging well. And that's what I want to help people do, is age well.
So what is it that people are getting wrong? What are the young fitness trainers? What are they getting wrong? What if I hired one today? What would happen?
First of all, they will immediately train you as if you're in your 20s still. So what that means is they're going to focus on body parts. Most trainers are going to be focusing on a chest day, a leg day, an arm day. They break the body up rather than combining it all together. When we look at functional fitness, we're looking at the training the body as a whole for movements rather than muscles. So they're going to misunderstand how to appropriately train people. The second thing is they often will misunderstand that their passion is in the gym. They love living in the gym. They assume that people who are 40 and over are going to have that same feeling. Like, yeah, you're going to have all this time dedicated to working out, meal prepping, and doing all the things you need to do to take care of yourself. But in reality, that falls short. A lot of people are busy. There's a lot of things going on in their lives. And so the misconception is that they train them incorrectly because they're doing body parts. They think that they have all the time in the world with no stress. And lastly, most young people want to make people sweaty and sore, and that's not a sign of progress. That's just, anybody can do that. You and I can sit in your car with the heater on high, and I can hit you with a hammer. Did you get sweaty? Absolutely. Did you get sore? Undoubtedly. Did you get better? No. So that's the difference.
So what does functional fitness, what does that word mean? I'd never heard of that term before. I've heard of functional medicine and, all kind, integrated. So tell me, what is functional fitness? What is the approach?
So the approach to functional fitness is using exercises to help the body function better. And so when we look at functions, we just look at things that we do daily, squatting, which is sitting up and standing up, bending over, it's balancing on one leg when you're walking upstairs, walking, lunging. It's using the body as it's intended to move rather than just putting in exercises to make your muscles look bigger or to make you sore. It's a matter of, how does the body function? What does your body in specific need? And how can we get the best outcome based on what we know how the body functions?
Okay. So give me an example of somebody that maybe might need functional fitness that they maybe don't realize that they need functional fitness.
If you're getting burnt out from working out, so if you're working out and you're constantly feeling tired of going to the gym, if you are dealing with injuries and they're not getting better, they're just progressing, if you're at a point where you have low energy or body just feels tighter than it used to, it's just an accumulation effect, and it means that there's something that needs to change with what you're doing. And in order for something to change, you got to do something different.
Quick break. This episode is brought to you by Vitality Growth Labs. If you're a health or wellness practice and you're wondering why your phone isn't ringing the way it should be, Vitality Growth Labs builds the systems to fix that. Get found, build trust, fill your calendar. AI authority stacking, videos that connect with your clients, real tools, strategy, and execution that results in real revenue. Visit vitalitygrowthlabs.com or check the provider directory at vitalitygrowthlabs.com/the directory to find a trusted wellness provider near you. All right, back to the show.
In functional fitness, do you get stronger? Do you actually build muscle doing these works, or is it more just like my neck hurts, I need to come in and have you do some exercises? Is it like, how is it different than PT?
Significantly different than PT. So PT focuses on getting the muscle or the problematic area to be without pain, to function better initially. Where what we're doing is, yes, we are helping people get stronger. People are building muscle. They're increasing their endurance, their mobility. So we encompass everything into one setting where it's the blend between, let's do some rehab exercises, or as we call them, corrective exercises. But we also blend that with strength training at the same time, because my biggest thing is you need mobility in order to be stronger. If your joints aren't functioning well, your body will compensate. Other muscles start becoming more active when they shouldn't be. So if we're dealing with neck stuff, oftentimes it could be a core issue. Or if we're dealing with low back pain, it could actually be coming from your glutes. So it's a matter of finding out where the problem's coming from and how we can improve upon that through proper exercises, but also getting you stronger at the same time.
So how do you know, like you mentioned a couple things, if you've got lower back problem, it might be coming from your glutes, or if you've got neck pain, it might be coming from your core. How do you know that? How do you tell?
I could tell just from years of experience. And I remember being in school, my teacher saying, if you watch somebody walk, you can tell a lot about them. And at the time I didn't understand it, but with years of experience now, I can tell. And my biggest thing is I've educated myself. So I've done a lot of certifications, and we often talk about compensational patterns. So if, let's say, for example, people are doing a dumbbell bench press or an overhead raise, if I see tension coming from the neck, that's telling me right off the bat that that's them using their neck instead of their core. When it comes to low back pain, oftentimes like what you and I are doing right now, a lot of people sit. And when you sit, your glutes are inactive. Your hip flexors, these front hip muscles here, they get tight and shortened. And so people's inability to extend, meaning pushing your hips forward, gets inhibited, fancy words for it. They're not able to function as well. So they can't do their job as well. So if my glutes aren't working, then my low back pretends to be my glutes. And it's kind of, I refer to it as pissing off the neighbors. You know, when you have a neighbor who's not mowing their lawn or picking up after the dog, who has to do that for them? You do. And that makes you feel upset. The body works the same way.
So when you watch somebody watch or walk, what are you looking at? What are you seeing?
I'm looking for their feet right away. If I look at someone's feet, I can tell a lot about them. Not in the weird way that I want to look at people's feet, like I get off to it, right? But more so like, hey, is your toes turning outward? Are you walking on your toes? Is your foot falling inward? Is your foot falling outward? So a lot of the chain comes from the foot and it works its way up. But the most important thing is I'm looking for when somebody walks, if their ankle is kind of shaking, falling more inward or outward, or if their toes are turning more outward or inward.
So when you work out here, you mostly have people not wear their shoes, right?
Correct.
Which is unusual.
Very.
Do you get a little pushback on that?
No. The only thing like I've gotten like pushback on is like people are like, I don't want people to look at my feet because I haven't had a pedicure. I'm like, well, okay, but it's a professional setting. Like most people don't give a shit about what's going on in your feet. But I get it though. Some people are really protective of their dogs. I get it, dude.
What is the biggest misconception people have when they first start, like come in here for the first month? I know I had something I had to say. What do they say to you?
I'm not sore. I'm not sweaty. I'm not working hard enough. I feel like we're not doing much. And then the what the hell effect happens, which is like, oh, I'm getting stronger. Oh, things are feeling better. Oh, I didn't know I could do that. So a lot of people come in here and think that they have to burn themselves out or they have to be one of my favorite fitness professionals, Mark Fisher, refers to it as farting blood. People think they have to do that for workouts. And I'm here to tell you, no, you don't. Like, imagine if you and I are cooking and I'm like, hey, the only way to cook is to have the heat on high. And that's it, right? Everything that we cook is just on high because I want it done right away, right now. And most oftentimes than not, you burn your food and it tastes like shit. And so I'm here to say, hey, we're still going to be cooking, but let's turn down the heat and make an appropriate dish that you would enjoy having.
I hate waiting a long time for my food.
Yeah, I know you do.
If there's a line, I will not go there. I don't care if it's like a 5-star, whatever, Michelin rated. I don't give a rip. I'll get a burrito because I just don't want to stand in line.
Dude, I will tell you this, just like for funsies. If you ever want to challenge yourself and try to make improvements, put yourself in uncomfortable positions. That's one way to challenge your ability to tolerate stress. Oftentimes, business owners and just anybody in general has high stress. How do we reduce that? Give yourself acute stress that you can tolerate that isn't overbearing. So waiting in line sucks. Sometimes I'll go in a long line just because I know I'm feeling impatient. I have nowhere else to be. It's just myself creating thoughts that don't work. So challenge myself because I know that in a time that I do need that level of patience, it serves me in that moment. And
Yeah.
so
Well, that's annoying also.
it's super fucking annoying. I get it. I totally get it.
So you mentioned I might need functional fitness if I'm working out. I feel like I'm burned out. Like many business owners, we just don't have time. Like that's the thing I struggle with. And I do this in my head almost every night. I wake up and I'm like, I got all these things to do. So I like hit the computer right away. All the meetings during the day, all the things. And then the kids come home, feed the kids. And then I'm like, I got all this other stuff to do. In my mind, I'm like, I should go work out. I should go work out. I should go out. But I'm like, I got all these things. After I get this done, I'll do it. After I get this done, I'll do it. And I have this fight every night and the work always wins.
Yeah.
So I haven't really been to the gym like I should. I went to, like, it's been a long time. And like I was really, really religious about it. And then when I became a business owner, like time just gone. So I'm curious, like, if I don't even know what functional fitness is, I haven't been to the gym, how do I know I need it?
I mean, again, you're in the right category right there. I don't have enough time. I'm stressed out. I don't even know where to begin. That's why you hire me. I take care of all those things. You know, it's either mornings or mid-afternoons is typically the times that I'm working with people. But what we do here is we cover so much in 45 minutes or less. Like, we cover everything from foam rolling, which is taking care of your muscles in a massage therapy way. We do a warm-up that gets your joints and your core ready. From there, the workout in itself itself encompasses everything from lower body exercises to upper body to core to everything that you need. And we do that by finishing the session in stretching too, where we get into some breathing work. But we take all these components that make a well-rounded individual for human performance, and we do that in 45 minutes or less. So most times people think that if you follow traditional fitness, you're working with that young personal trainer, they're going to need you to come in about 5 days a week. So again, you can separate the muscle groups. That way you can do all that work. And usually workouts are 60 minutes, if not longer. When I was in school, we learned that 60 minutes is kind of the threshold. After that, there's not much of a benefit. So for me, I've learned through years of practice that a good 35 to 45 minute is just what you need.
Okay. So you have men and women that come in here, a lot of mostly business owners. You have a couple people under 40. I don't know why you let them in.
I'm a nice guy.
Yeah.
I want to help people, dude.
Some guy the other day was like, I'm almost 40. I was like, you're not supposed to be here.
Right.
Anyway, so tell me, why do people, when they come, why do they come in? What are they complaining about?
Most times it's, I'm feeling stiff. There's something going on within their body, whether it's a shoulder, whether it's a hip, neck, knee. It's usually a problem where, hey, something's bothering me enough that it's impeding on my life. There's something that I've tried this and this and this and it didn't work. I need something different. Other times it's, I need somebody who can cater to me at the current stage of life that I'm at, and I need help doing it. And other times it could be people who've never done fitness before. Hey, I know I need to do this, but I don't know where to start, and I'm your guide to help you through that process.
So tell me about when you have a person who's a professional, maybe it's an executive or a business owner. You're sitting for a lot of times meetings, constant meetings, meeting with people, sometimes a lunch, and then you go to another meeting, right? So you're sitting and then you get up to go sit again. What does that do to your body over time?
Well, over time, you get a lot of pain. Oftentimes, we briefly talked about this, but we look at the hips, most importantly first, right? Your glutes are not turned on when we're sitting. From there, our hip flexors get tight, like we talked about, right? They pull you forward. So then again, low back gets achy because the hips aren't working well. From there, we have a diaphragm that sits right below the rib cage. It's our breathing muscle. When we're slunched forward, we block the ability to appropriately breathe, which when we breathe, we want to be able to breathe in so your ribs expand forward and outward to the side. So breathing gets affected. From there, it's a whole chain of effect. My shoulders round forward, which when my shoulders round forward, my posture gets worse. My upper back starts to round. When your upper back starts to round, muscles get stretched out. Your shoulder blades aren't able to function as well as they should. They should be able to pull back, move upward, forward, downward, all different directions. And then from there, neck comes forward, neck gets tight, breathing becomes impaired, and your head tilts forward. When your head does tilt forward, you can also exhibit signs of depression as well. And so it goes from a physical to a mental thing, and people are wondering, well, why am I so lethargic? Why am I feeling so down? Why am I feeling so tired? Well, look what you're doing to your body. And it's not like we're doing this on purpose, but it's just the means of society of where we're at and how much we value work over our health.
And what's weird is I would bet there's so many young, it's probably going to start to happen earlier because so many younger people are doing that. I've noticed even in my own kids, because now they're hunched over computers doing all their homework all day and then at night, right? So I see them even with that little bit, and they're young, right?
They're so young. I've met 22-year-olds who've had low back pain to the point that they acted like they were 40.
Wow.
Yeah, it's becoming an issue more and more.
So how does stress in your body show up? How do you see that?
It varies from person to person. The number one thing is agitation. Your ability to be more explosive comes from higher levels of stress. Maybe we're upset because something went wrong with work, so we kick the dog, or we yell at our partner, or we get after the kids. That's one area. You're more irritable, right? That's stress there. Aches and pains become heightened. So if you've had some issues in the past where you've had some injuries or surgeries, when stress gets high, those get more aggravated. Other areas is you're sick more often. People who have high levels of stress, your immune system becomes compromised. Why? Because it's always fighting off these high levels of cortisol because you're stressed out. So you might be getting sick more. you're more agitated. You might feel more pain in your body. Habits become worse, whether you pick up more drinking if you're somebody who drinks. Perhaps you use substances. There's another factor there. So it really varies to each individual and how they respond. But typically, those are the things that I see.
Okay. Well, you also have so I don't even know what all your degrees are. Maybe you can tell us like what your studies are, but you do massage and also breath work and other things too, it sounds like.
Yeah. So I have my bachelor's in exercise science. I have my associates in health and fitness, and I have a diploma in massage therapy. So I'm a licensed massage therapist. I have done a lot of coursework with functional fitness, and the breath work comes from a few different other areas. One of them being RPR, reflexive performance reset. The other one is original strength, which really dives deeper into the breathing, but also more so some of the vestibular system, our ability to sense our balance. And so a lot of it just kind of comes back into the one thing that we do when we're born, which is breathing. That's the first thing you do when you're born, you breathe. And babies breathe appropriately. If you watch them breathe, you can see their belly raise up, their ribs expand. But then as we get older, and it's not even like older as in like 40 and over, it's literally within starting around first grade, you start seeing breathing problems start happening. And I got that from the person who taught me some of the coursework I'd done because he studied his kids. He's a strength and conditioning coach at the University of Minnesota, and he's a huge science guy. So he studied his kids, and he started seeing the effects happen when they started first grade. And so why does that begin to happen? Well, it's when stress starts happening. You start getting homework. You start getting put in a system. And
Start sitting in a chair all day.
Exactly.
Yeah. So how does the breath work and the massage therapy, how do you incorporate that into your functional fitness approach?
Yeah. So the massage therapy, we do foam rolling techniques here. So if you're not familiar with what a foam roller is, it's a tool that you can use to massage muscles. Is it going to replace massage therapy? Absolutely not. But you're going to get an acute benefit while doing it before you're working out because you get blood flow to the areas, you get an acute increased range of motion, which is fancy words for you get better mobility. And also it just feels good eventually. And so we incorporate the massage therapy work in the beginning of the workout, and then the breath work comes in at the end of the workout. So once you finish your workout, your heart rate's going to be a little bit higher. You're going to be a little bit stressed out, and stressed out in a positive way. They refer to that as eustress. Distress is, holy crap, everything's on fire, the world's collapsing. Eustress is, this is hard, but it's challenging in a good way. And so we incorporate breathing at the end of the workout when we're stretching, and it helps you reduce your heart rate. It helps you kind of get back into your body, and also mental clarity behind that. And that's a big thing.
So I'm going to, what's interesting is I work with a lot of business owners, people that come on the show and in previous work as well. And there's so much ADHD in business owners, a lot of stress. So how do you get people, I'm just curious, what are the things that we're doing every day that you're just like, gosh, if I could just tell people, if I could give them this message about what they're doing that could maybe just help them. Well, what are some of the things that we're all doing wrong as business owners, high stress, sitting in the chair that we could just correct?
Slow down. That's like the number one thing, right? It's slowing down, honestly, because as business owners and people with high stress, like there's so much going on that we don't ever take time to slow down. Like just slow down, catch your breath, and just be able to set things down for a brief moment in time. And I think that's what's hard for a lot of people is, oh, working out is another thing I have to add onto my schedule. This is another time-consuming thing, so on and so forth. But everybody that comes in never regrets coming in. You know, they always leave feeling better when they came in. And so if I could give that one piece of advice would be to slow down and stop thinking as if you're so important. And like I say that in a kind of like sounds like a dick way, right? But we have this like feeling within us as entrepreneurs that the world revolves around us, that we're the most important person on this world to what we're doing to our company. To a degree, yes, but also you're human. I think we dehumanize ourselves and we think of ourselves as machines more than people. And I think that it's okay to take a break. I think it's okay to slow down. I think that not gonna. I mean, if you're at a spot where I can't just take a day off to just like reset, your business is a problem because it shouldn't be that much of a linchpin. You know, I think that our inability to slow down and just be with ourselves is what's causing a lot of the pain and suffering that we're dealing with. And so if we can slow down and set things down for a brief moment, you create space for clarity. And I think that not enough people do that. So the best advice is just to slow down. It's okay.
I feel like personally affronted right now.
I'm sorry. Like I say this, I'm like talking to myself when I answer that question because I'm in the same boat, right? I think that I'm so important and that the world revolves around, but it's not, man. The more I keep applying it, it's like, oh shit. Everything that I tell everybody is either a reflection of myself or things I've learned. So I'm talking to myself most of the time.
So what's interesting, you have small group classes here. So there's a couple of people here at any given time. And there's usually some pretty interesting discussions when you get a couple of business owners, you know, just starting to riff a little bit. So that's kind of a side benefit, I think, of the environment that you have here. I'm going to give you a few statements. And you're going to tell me true, false, myth, or not, and why.
Sure.
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, this is the part where it is a little bit like a quiz show.
Okay.
Let's
go.
After 40, it's hard to build muscle.
No. False. You can build muscle at any age, at any time.
So why does it feel harder?
Because we're older, man. We have a lot more stress. We're not able to like bounce back as we used to when we were younger. We have more responsibilities. We've had more life experience. So shit just feels harder for us. But in reality, that's why you hire somebody, you know? I don't know how to do bookkeeping. Like I do, but I hire somebody to go do that for me. I have an accountant. I have people who do things for me because I'm not good at it. And it's okay to have somebody help you. That's what they're there for.
Cardio is the most important thing once you cross 50.
I think that it's important for health and longevity. Is it the most important thing? I don't think so. I think strength is, just because it's what carries your body into what you're doing with it. So I always like to think of strength is the glass. Water is whatever else you pour in there. So your cardio, your mobility, your flexibility, all those other things. But you got to be strong first. And strong is subjective.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were going to keep going.
I was going to, but I was like, nah, I think I'm good on that one.
If you have back pain, you should rest.
Depending on the severity of it. If it's like excruciating and like everything is burning and it feels like everything's on fire and it's knives in your back, probably go to a doctor first and go talk to them. But if it's like moderate to like, it just feels stiff and sore, dude, go and move. Like honestly, getting stronger fixes a lot of problems.
Do you ever see, I'm on these Facebook groups, like all the crazy ones, and there's people that like will post pictures of like severe medical conditions. And they'll be like, what should I do about this? And I'm just like, why are you not running to the ER right now?
Dude, I've been doing this for 12 years and there's been so many things that I've seen. I was like, go talk to a doctor. I'm not a doctor. I didn't know any of that. Like, if you have health insurance, why the hell aren't you going? Like, dude, go. I don't get that.
Yeah, and then after you go to the doctor, then you come and see, well,
Then we
okay.
can talk about it.
All right, stretch. Always stretch before a workout.
I wouldn't necessarily say stretch. I think doing mobility work before a workout, because stretching is more so lengthening the tissue, and you want to do that at the end of the workout preferably, because you've worked the muscles out. You want to stretch it out so you can get better blood flow. But when it comes to warming up and getting ready for a strength training session, you want to do more dynamic mobility. That way the joints are ready, the body's ready, and the mind's ready.
What does that mean? What is mobility?
Mobility is getting the joints to move in ways that they function. Again, most lay people don't know what that is, right?
Yeah,
it's
so like I know what a stretch is. Tell me, what is a mobility move?
A mobility move would be something of like moving your arm in a giant circle. It could be rocking your hips back. It could be rocking an ankle. It could be moving your hips inward and outward. It could be doing a glute bridge where you raise your hips up. It could be a dead bug where you're getting opposite joints to move while your core is keeping stable. So it's something that's a little bit more dynamic. For those who are looking for it, if you go on my YouTube, my MB Wellness, you'll be able to find our warm-up that we do here. So then you don't ever have to think about what you have to do. You just watch the video.
Oh, okay.
Right? Fancy.
So this is one that I struggle with because, I'll just say that you have to sweat for it to count.
Yeah. That's the biggest lie anyone's ever been told. That's like saying I have to waste my entire paycheck so that I know I worked. You know, it doesn't make sense. Like, I think sweating is it's just a factor in it. Sometimes you sweat, sometimes you don't. But again, it's like thinking that, oh, I have a driver's license, I have to be a NASCAR race driver. No, you can just drive in town. It's fine. You know, I think that going back to the analogy, if you want to get sweaty and sore, sitting in your car with the heat on high and me hitting you with a hammer, you got sweaty, you got sore, you did not get better. It's about how your improvement of movement and quality of life increases versus trying to think of this outcome as I need to cook with the heat on high.
Well, as a product of the 70s and 80s, growing up, it was always like, everything was until you puke. It was party till you puke.
Yep.
You work out till you puke. There was a lot of puking happening in those days.
Apparently, dude.
And I lived in Wrigleyville, which was also a place where there was a lot of puking in the Cubs Stadium. A lot of themes here going through as I'm looking back. But, you know, it was always like, give it all. Like, I remember having T-shirts. It was like, whatever it takes, you know, stuff like that. And it's very hard because even as an entrepreneur, it's like you have to do all the things, whatever it takes to get there, right? And so it's hard to rewire that sometimes because that's how we grew up. Is like, if you're going to work out, you have to give it everything, and otherwise it doesn't feel like why waste your time.
Right. There was a book I read called I think it's called Do Hard Things. That's the book. It's called Do Hard Things by Steve Magnus, and he is a author who studied performance athletes at the top tier and what it took and what they did differently. One of the biggest misconceptions is I have to burn myself out. It's in the book. It talks about how that's super ineffective. A lot of people who are at high level performance, yes, they've dedicated a lot of life, but when they think about what they're doing, if let's say you're an Olympian and I'm like, hey, dude, you got to keep going until you puke. And guess what? You get injured because of that. And you're going for the Olympics and it's like 2 weeks out and I got you injured because I said, hey, you have to work until you're puking. I just costed you 4 years of your life, if not longer. I'm a shitty coach for doing that. Why? Because my mentality was to work you until you puked. Otherwise, you didn't do it. So I think about it this way, too. What got us here won't get us there. What got you to where you're at right now of what you're currently doing will only keep repeating the same results until you change. And I speak from that because I think about my past experiences with addiction. I struggled with addiction in my life, and I knew something had to change, and in order for something to change, I had to make that change myself. And so if I wanted to have the same outcomes, I'd be doing the same things. And change is hard, I get it, but if you want something different, it's a matter of doing something even harder, which is something new.
All right, my last statement here that I'm having you react to. I'm too out of shape. It's really hard to start.
I mean, that's a valid feeling, but it's not a fact. If you work with a shitty coach, then yeah, it will be. But if you work with somebody who meets you where you're at, I think that's the most important thing that we do here is we meet each individual where they're at. If you've never done fitness before, if you're out of shape or anything of those lights, I will always find something for you to do. And
so if a 52-year-old CEO listening right now has just 15 minutes a day, that's all they have, what would you tell them to do?
If they have equipment available, like a kettlebell or a dumbbell, do a quick circuit. You don't need much to get the results. It's just
What's a circuit?
A circuit would be doing like 4 or 5 different exercises, like one right after another. So let's take an example of let's say a squat, right? You use your kettlebell or dumbbell and you squat with it. As soon as you're done with your squat, you can go into a row where you're pulling the dumbbell or the kettlebell back. From there, you can go overhead or forward, strengthening the front chest muscles. And then from there, you can do a hip hinge, which is bending at the hips and strengthening the backside of your glutes. And from there, you could also do like a plank too. So you can take like 4 to 5 exercises, do one every minute for a set amount of reps, rest, and then repeat to the next one, and then that's it. But let's say you don't have equipment available, body weight exercises are fine. You can just do a set of push-ups, squats, lunges, bridges, or mobility is another big factor. And again, if you're looking for more mobility, check out my YouTube channel, MyMB Wellness. We have a lot of videos on there from exercises to mobility.
What is the most underrated movement that we should all do every week or every day?
I think that there's 2 that I'm really it's a toss-up between these 2, but it's your ability to bend over. So hinging at your hips, learning how your hips function is one of the most important things. And then right next to that is something that challenges your balance. So like a lunge or a single leg deadlift, because I look at longevity, right? I look at the end game. If you break your hip, I think it's like after 60, your life really falls down after that. And so if we can strengthen our hips and be able to balance, we reduce the likelihood of us falling or injuring our back.
If you could tell someone to start one habit, something that if they did it every day that would compound, that would improve their life, what would that habit be?
It's the habit that I do every day, which is 5 minutes of movement. Every day I wake up and I just start my day off with 5 minutes of movement. And that could be flaring my arms around and making giant circles. It could be going up and down. It could be moving my legs. It could be using the exercises on my YouTube channel that you can look up right now and find for free. And just like incorporating that. But like the biggest thing, because I used to have really horrible mobility and my body was jacked up from years of bodybuilding and powerlifting. And I saw this book and it was called 5 Minute Flow. And it took the concept of compounding. Right. So as business owners, we know the compound effect and how important that is. And so that was 2016. So is that
Forever ago. I don't
Holy
even
shit.
know.
That's like 10
It's
years
like a little
ago, dude.
math. Yeah.
So it's been 10 years since I've been doing this habit, but it's every day I wake up, I do 5 minutes of mobility, and then I start my day from there. So if you want one piece of advice that I can give you for the longest term of benefit, move your body for 5 minutes and that's it.
So for people who are a little impatient, speaking for a friend,
Okay, yep.
and you're like, oh, it's not happening fast enough. What do you tell them? What should we be looking for that's like, hey, you are making progress?
It's a great question. I would say using intrinsic areas of factors that you can measure. So how do you feel, man? Like when you started and we are gauging pain, we're gauging enjoyment, we're engaging on all these different metrics, find the metric that you can use that you can significantly improve throughout time. For example, you could look at it as, hey, I used to have pain bending over. Now I don't have that as much. It could be saying, hey, my shoulders used to be really stiff. Now they're moving better. So it's looking at the smaller things and amplifying it. You know, it's a long game, dude. So many people want to rush it, and it's like, I get the impatientness, but I mean, you're just gonna fall victim to the same shit you've been doing your whole life. Do something different, man. It's a hard thing to change, but boy, howdy, your life gets better when you change it.
Boy, howdy.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So if you had a billboard in Sioux Falls, you could let people know, if it was like, this billboard is for anyone who's driving down Minnesota or 41st Street. Mm-hmm. No, it's only a billboard. You got to it's got to be short.
Okay.
What would it say?
I can help you feel better.
Okay. You seem confident about that.
Yeah, man, because like, you know, it's like, you know, we look at the training of what we do and you start to feel better over time. We're not going to initially like rid pain. Sometimes we do, but you know, sometimes it's about managing it. But I think the other outcome that you talked about earlier is you get community here. Like most box gyms, corporate fitness will have half naked 20-year-olds running around. And to me, that's very off-putting because I value fitness as a means of vitality versus vanity. And so if you can be around other people who are either business owners or in the same stage of life, like you get other people you can rely on. You know, it's not only me holding you accountable, but you have the community of other people who look forward to hanging out with you. So you get community here as well. And people feel better when they're around other people who are like themselves.
So, here we heard a lot from you today. You're a part-time philosopher, part-time counselor,
Yeah.
full-time business owner of MB Wellness.
Yeah.
Where can people find you?
You can find me on Facebook at MB Wellness. You can find me on Instagram at MyMBWellness. You can find me on YouTube at MyMBWellness. You can also find me on my website at www.mymbwellness.com.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you being on today. So if you are over 40 and you're feeling it, maybe give Will a call. I'm assuming people come in and can do like a trial or test it out, see how it goes, and get to know you a little bit?
You get a free intro session, or we can also do a consultation where we sit down, we talk, see what's going on, and go from there.
He will make you slow down, which will be wildly uncomfortable.
For a lot of people, yes.
But yeah, you do good work here. So thank you again for being on the show, sharing a little bit about what we can do to make sure we stay healthy as business owners as we age and age well.
Thank you.
Thanks, Will.
Yes.
Hey, that's our show. If someone came to mind while you were listening to this, if you thought, hey, my sister needs to hear this, or I should send this to my mom, or my buddy would get a lot out of this, please share it with them. Just hit the share button and send it their way. You never know what one conversation, one episode, or one piece of information can do for someone who's been looking for answers. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do it now. It takes 2 seconds, it's free, and it means you won't miss an episode. We've got incredible stuff coming up, and I don't want you to miss any of it. And if you're a health or wellness provider and you want to be on the show, we'd love to hear from you. There's a link in the show notes to get in touch. We're always looking for people doing interesting work who want to share what they know. And one last thing, I get asked all the time about the products and brands I actually use. So I put together a list of sponsors and favorite products that have worked for me and my family. If you're curious, that link is in the show notes too. Thank you for being here. And I really mean that. I'm Melissa Goodwin. The line is open. See you next time.